Ladies and gentlemen, I think I've got the live chat feature up now. Right. Just wait a couple of minutes for people to come and join us. One person. Three people. If you can hear me okay, put comments at the side. Evening, Whip Lady. Just looks like me and the Whip Ladies watching. Is that better? Can you hear me better now, Whip Lady? This is all new to me. I've never done a live stream on YouTube before. Get a couple of more minutes, see if anybody else joins us. It can be anything you want it to be, Whip Lady. Just trying to relieve some pressures of the lockdown that we're in at the moment, and trying to keep people happy and peaceful and help with their mental health and things like that, because the best thing you can do for mental health is actually talk to people, because it actually tries to relieve the pressures of your mental health and try and help you out basically around that. How do I view the fucking text? So, not many people watching at the moment. Bear with me, I'll see if it's showing up that we're live. So I know it's quite problems when I first jumped in. So see if we're actually people. Me, I've got at the moment, I'm dealing with the council and NHS, because my little sister has health problems and learning disabilities, and she's never been diagnosed properly by the services. So we're actually battling with the services to try and get the support she needs. But it's she's now 24 and she's not getting the support she needs. So we're actually fighting through that at the moment, try and get the support she needs and actually get a proper diagnosis. But the problem is, I'm from Halifax in West Yorkshire. The main mental health for them is actually in Barnsley, which is in South Yorkshire. Don't ask why. I think it's ridiculous that you have to write to South Yorkshire when that's miles away. But what can we do? It seems to be happening with a lot of people, and people keep getting suicide, and it's crazy for the people that aren't getting the support that they actually deserve. And our local MP, Holly Lynch, useless. You shouldn't deal with it properly or anything like that. She's hands off with at the moment. Yeah, our local MP's Holly Lynch, absolutely and utterly useless, to be honest with you. I used to be a member of the Labour Party, believe it or not. But this I couldn't stand in the actual ward I was in because it's an all-female shortlist, which means men can't stand. But the members of the party that are actually men want to stand for the ward, but they can't actually stand for the ward with it being an all-female shortlist. So that's also a letdown. So it's crazy how the system is at the moment. Talking about experiences myself as well, I've got learning disabilities and dyslexia. And yes, she's just hands off basically. Social services won't help her. It's just a crazy round and round circle. What's going off? See 4 people's viewing in, so I to the 4 people. Yeah, so services at the moment in our areas, like I said, you're having to write off to South Yorkshire, which is ridiculous. And West Yorkshire, why can't we have support in West Yorkshire? It's crazy. If you've had any experiences with the mental health or Senko department or council department, let us know and see if how many people are actually having problems as well with it. It's absolutely and utterly ridiculous what's going on. And we need to basically get more of a community together, but not snakes and not rats that go against you. More of a community to fight for this actual thing, because there's something in law that's called human rights and Equality Act 2010. Why can't we get the support we need when we've got these problems? It's crazy. It really is. And people say, "Oh, you're supposed to know all these things." Wait a minute, how am I supposed to know all these things? I'm not educated in mental health. Crazy. Absolutely is crazy. It really is. But if you've had any experiences with mental health or anything like that, let us know. And yeah, absolutely crazy what's going off. And if you have any other experiences with your mental health and not getting support with the police or anything like that, let us know as well. There's a lot of that going off. Halifax actually has one of the biggest suicide rates, believe it or not. Famous bridge, famous flyovers. You might have read in local news that there's been people jumping off them and not getting the support they need with the services and things like that. ISITX. Yeah, so it's ridiculous what's going off with the services at the moment. It really is. And I said the only way we're going to ever get around trying to get something sorted for our area is for more people to actually talk about what's going on with it as well. It really is. And I just think it's ridiculous that I'm from West Yorkshire, but you're having to write to South Yorkshire to actually get help. But wait a minute, where's South Yorkshire on the line to where I am in West Yorkshire. It's miles away. So if I need someone with mental health, wait a minute, where am I going to get it? South Yorkshire? It's like if you go in and claiming your PIP, your main office is there now as well. It's crazy. It really is. Really is. And just say, if there's any auditors watching, mental health is the one that I would turn around and say, focus the most on, because there's so many people that suffer mental health, celebrities. It's crazy what's going off. It really is. Bit about my background is I've got dyslexia. I also had mental health problems as well when I was a lot younger, with schools and things like that, getting passed around from services to services. But services don't support you, so what do you end up trying to do? Well, more than once actually. I tried it 3 times. I tried committing suicide for not getting the support I needed. But there's also people that have actually committed suicide and actually died in Halifax. And the Dale Centre, wait a minute, you go to there's no mental health workers there. You've actually seen somebody from a reception that ain't trained. It's same when you're claiming PIP. Wait a minute, I'm going to see PIP, but I've got a brain injury. Wait a minute, a physiotherapist don't deal with brain injuries. So why are we seeing them when we're claiming PIP, and we're claiming it for certain reason? So people are actually being put on hold on that. Or you can claim ESA. Wait a minute, ESA is out the out. You can't live off ESA. Half at time now to live in certain premises like £200 onwards for a small place. It's absolutely crazy. It really is. Really is. So if you had any experiences with mental health or anything like that, let us know. And if you've got any questions this evening, pop them in the comments, and I'll see what I can see if I can help you with them. Yeah, it has AB. It has. We also have a flyover in Halifax called Burdock Way, and that's quite high. They jump off there as well. And it's a racetrack as well as Northbridge. The council in Collardale tried to actually put barriers and things on Northbridge, but they've actually put like a big plastic sheet on it, which actually makes it even more slippy. So they're actually helping people commit suicide in a sense. So if you actually can get into Halifax after the lockdown, obviously, go and view Northbridge and see how ridiculous it is what the council have actually done. And talking about the council as well, the main health person of the council is a person called Faisal Circuit, who was a councillor, and is also a local pharmacist. If you can actually research this particular guy, I would urge you to research him, because he's quite dodgy in some of the acts he's actually been doing. But of course, we'll leave that to live free to actually focus on pharmacists and things like that. Hiya, Scotsman. Yes, if you've got any things you want to ask or comment about mental health, or if you want any support, let us know in the comments. And if you actually suffered at the hands of any particular councils or anything like that, let us know as well. It's because I say it's absolutely and utterly ridiculous what's going on, and it really is. And this lockdown, it isn't helping mental health either, because it's making even more people mentally ill. So that's not even helping. The government haven't really thought this through. It's crazy. It really is. And like I said, if any auditors or any freedom fighters, or who you like to call yourself these days, focus on mental health, go to the mental health, and please fight for the people that need it. And that's everybody suffers from mental health. Everybody. It's happened. Celebrities, MPs, everybody suffers from mental health at some point. Yep, it really is Scotsman. So yeah, and if you want to follow a certain channel, follow Society X is quite good around the subjects of mental health as well, and I know he's actually trying to fight for people around that particular area. But I says it's happening with everybody. What's that? How people with these illnesses coping with this lockdown? Because I'm finding it hard. I'm sure Zara's finding it hard. She's my sister with the health problems that hasn't got the support she needs. It really is hard. It really is for everybody. Yeah, you're certainly right, Society X. Yeah, I said if everybody needs to fight on this mental health subject, because, like I said, everybody suffers from it. I'm just trying to focus on the chat as well, because, like I said, it's the first time I've ever done one of these live chats. I'm more a radio man, which is in a room, obviously, on your own with a microphone talking. But obviously, I stopped doing that due to health grounds and stations actually going to greatest hit stations, which are now in London. So that's my particular background is radio, but these live chats and that kind of thing is all new to me, really. But I said, there's so many people that are getting this particular support that they deserve. There's so many people that are losing it, and obviously doing things that is obviously harming them and harming the families. And because if you've got mental health and you're living with somebody, people don't think of the people that you're actually living with. They're suffering it as well, because they're taking the pressures and feelings from you as well. So they need to actually think about that as well. So yeah, like I says, being on that line myself, trying to get the support we need and that kind of thing. It's crazy, but like I says, why are we having to go to South Yorkshire when we're living in West Yorkshire? But now, if you look at the laws, they've actually changed that if you actually have mental health, it does only take one doctor now to actually section you, when it used to actually be 3 doctors. And sometimes you have to have social workers and things like that to actually tell you, yes, this person needs sectioning. But it's crazy. Now only one person can actually, that trained doctor can actually section you. But is that person actually trained in mental health? He's a doctor, he's a GP. But not, wait a minute, not all GPs are trained in mental health. Think about it logically. It's crazy, isn't it? It's like, would you actually go to your joiner to actually go fix your car? The actual answer is no, you wouldn't. You want to go see someone who's a professional to go fix your car. So that's it's crazy. It's absolutely and utterly crazy. It really is. And yeah, this lockdown isn't helping anybody either. And really isn't. And they said, I know that I'm not the only person that's actually fighting for the rights of people with mental health or learning disabilities to try and get the support. I know there's thousands upon thousands out there, but it's crazy that people aren't getting this support when they're entitled to this support. We vote these people into power. We pay our tax money to actually support these people. You're not really... It's crazy. It really is. But yeah, and it's crazy that you're going to actually fight the system to actually get help with the system, but then you're passed around and saying, "Oh, it's not you, it's not me. See this person, but you never actually see this person." It really is. And then so what really gets me is actually, I said I struggle with dyslexia, I have problems reading, writing, that kind of thing. But you actually go and see these people and actually giving you certain letters. If it wasn't for a carer, which I've got a carer, reading these letters to me and trying and telling me what they actually are, I wouldn't know where I'm standing as well. But they said, oh, you could do it by phone. Wait a minute. You're using posh, fancy words to actually that I don't understand. But if you're turning around and say basically keep it simple because I've got these disabilities, you look at me like I'm some kind of don, some kind of weirdo, some kind of person that shouldn't be on earth. It's like when you go, like I've got health problems as well. I've got an expectosus cavitum, which is a hole in my chest as well. I suffer from that. I'm supposed to see a doctor every so often to get it checked, but don't happen, does it? Like everything else. Yeah, it really is. So it's the system's actually completely and utterly letting everybody down. And I said, if you can actually fight for the people that actually deserve this particular, which is everybody. Again, everybody needs this help because everybody's suffering from some form of mental health. They need to get this support, and even if you have to go to the Court of Human Rights, which is we're entitled to, do it. I urge you to actually go and do it because you need this particular support. Like I say, if you're going and claiming PIP or you're going to claim any other benefits, you're now actually having to fight the system as well in these particular courtrooms, which is normally a doctor, if it is a true doctor, a social worker and a judge. The social worker always fights you and says you're entitled to it. The judge is just there to try and keep the peace, that doesn't have a clue what you're talking about. Another one, if it's actually a trained doctor, which 9 out of 10 is never a trained doctor, it's some weirdo that's been reading textbooks in a university who says, oh, I've passed, I've got qualification that says I'm a doctor. Wait a minute, you've got no experience of being a doctor. Same happening on the schools as well. They go to university, they're studying out of a textbook. Wait a minute, a textbook does not tell you everybody. It's everybody's day-to-day life here. So you're telling me you're training this particular subject. No, you're not. You just read it from a textbook. It's like, oh, we'll go see a counsellor because we've got this health problem. We'll go see a psych person to actually try and talk to these particular people. Wait a minute, what's the best thing to do? What's your name? Do you have family members? Wait a minute, yeah, I've got an husband or a wife. So they actually try and say, yeah, what's your husband's wife? What is it's so and so. Oh, fair enough. They'll write it down. You go to next week and you turn around and say to them what they actually done. Think about it logically. They've actually researched that person and they found the background that this person's actually suffered from mental health as well. May have been arrested by the police or anything like that. They've got this information. Wait a minute. Think about it logically. Your mental health is suffered by that particular person. But wait a minute. No, it's not. See what I mean? They're actually taking your details and actually researching into that particular person. So they've actually got your details of that particular person. So they're actually making up these particular things. So like it's, say you've had problems with your father, they've been taken by your kids have been taken by social services, and later on your kids suffering from mental health. Wait a minute, so they go see this psych doctor. If they actually do see this particular person, what's the first thing they do and do? What's your name? Who was your mum? That kind of thing. Oh, it's so-and-so work. So you go in next week, they read it on your report, you find out that you've been in care. So they'll blame care. And so your problems come because of care. Wait a minute, it might not be because of care. But they're trying to say, no, your problems, so you're causing stress and anxiety because you've got this problem with being in care. Wait a minute, it might not be because of that, it might be society. See what I mean? This is how easy that these people that actually twist things. And the most easily based place to twist is your family members, believe it or not. They always try to concentrate mostly on your family members. And the reason why they have to concentrate on your family members is because social services do have to do one thing and one thing only, and that's take your children. Everybody knows social services are here. They want one thing, to try and take your children. Don't believe in social services. Social services are useless, and I don't like them at all. They might be here to try and support you, but trust me, they're not really here to try and support you. It really is. So be careful around the social services route. And don't forget, you can get power of attorney as well, which if social services are involved and you have somebody in your home that's got an illness, mental health or anything like that, try get a power of attorney, which gives you the rights to that particular person, but you're taking their rights. So you're taking the rights of that person that cannot fight for themselves. So social services can't take that person because you take rights in that person. But be careful with power of attorney as well, because power of attorney, a social worker can actually sign it as well. So try and not get a social worker to sign one. Go to a lawyer, solicitor, and go through that channel to try and get one, because you're actually playing them and you're playing their games, but you're taking that right off them, so you're speaking for that particular person. That's one way of trying to relieve it. But power of attorney, obviously, if you think about that route, research it first, because it actually does come with quite a few things that you actually need to read it off, because if you actually die or your parents or whatever have dementia, you can actually get one as well, but you're taking the particular rights of them, so you can actually take charge of their money and other things as well. But people, like in my shoes, I wouldn't like my family taking my money. See what I mean? So you actually, if you're thinking about that particular route, think about it logically before you actually apply for a power of attorney as well. But remember now that the laws have changed and it only takes one doctor to section you. So don't actually turn around and tell them you're going for this power of attorney, because they'll use it against you as well. So actually think of it logically if you're going to run through that particular route as well. But don't forget, you've got the Freedom Acts as well that are in power. You've got the Equality Act 2010 as well that you can actually use, and loads of laws. Like, if you've got breathing difficulties and that kind of thing with the COVID-19, you might get harassed by a bus driver or police. Wear a mask this, but you've got breathing difficulties. That also comes under the Equality Act 2010 as well. So you can actually sue them for actually telling you to do that, believe it or not, because it is actually illegal. So just tell them you can actually get fined up to 10k for actually breaking that particular law, and I will take you to civil court. Yeah, so remember that particular thing is in there as well. Use these laws, research these laws and research these acts and these statutes to actually get your rights across them there, because these acts and these statutes are here for us, not just them. So just research into these particular areas as well. By the way, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a trained solicitor, so just get that science that across. But I'm coming from a background that's actually suffered at the hands of the system, and actually going through it as well now with my younger sister as well, fighting for education and rights to try and get her diagnosed. Yeah. But the problem is as well is the helplines you can actually call for mental health and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a good thing, but just remember they are not on your side. They are on the side of your social workers and the government. Because think about it logically, who are they working for? They're a company, yeah? So they have to answer to the government as a company. Like the police, people think, oh, the police is paid by the taxpayer. Yeah, it's paid by the taxpayer, you're actually right. But if you look at the police and you go onto the Companies House website, you'll actually find out that the police is actually a company. So if you're actually getting parking tickets and done by the police, they want to make money, don't they? They're a company, they're a business. Same as anything else. The hospitals, your NHS, is a business. And if you don't believe me that's actually a business, research your hospital on Community House, because it will tell you that it is a business. They're here to make money. They're not here to support you. They're here to make money. So if they can make money from you, they're going to do it. See what I mean? So it's another system that's not helping us as well. So, like I said, just think about it logically if I actually do these things and actually researches particular rights. And obviously, CAB as well, Citizens Advice Bureau, don't trust them as far as you can throw them as well, because they're nosy. They're only there to be nosy and read and get into your details. Yeah, so it's be careful of how you're going around these particular things. And don't forget, if you're from Scotland or you're from abroad or things like that, you'll still have these rights, but they'll be hidden. All rights when it comes to mental health and that kind of thing is actually hidden from us, because they like to hide it from us and not tell us what particular rights and motives and that kind of thing we can actually have, because they don't like it. It's very rare, isn't it, if you're actually claiming PIP, they don't turn around and tell you can actually get support on your water bills as well with it. They don't tell you can actually get support going to these particular places. The Job Centre, Job Centre Plus, won't tell you this, because they only want one thing, and that's to push you in and out of the door, sign a form, you've gone. That's why they're basically, when you're ringing for the Department of Working Pensions, you put on hold for so long with that ridiculous piano music that everyone's suddenly seems to get louder, believe it or not. Why do you think it actually gets louder? So it deafens you, so you actually turn off the phone. You don't figure it like that logically, do you? So I said, this system that you're actually playing is playing us. And the only way we can actually get around it is fight for his rights that we actually are here and put for, and we can actually get. The police, like I said, will support the Senko doctors and things like that, even though they're supposed to be there for everybody, but they make it Section 5 public order. Wait a minute, I'm not causing a public order, I'm fighting for my rights here. So don't try to arrest me on public order grounds when I'm fighting for my rights. So they actually call the police to try and get you done for public order for you fighting for your rights. So just be careful on that one as well. So I said, if you can actually research what the actual tactics that they're actually going for and trying to do, you'll actually find out that they're actually trying to use certain powers to take us. That's why the mental health law changed for sectioning people. Believe it or not, you can actually when it comes to this particular subject, you've got to think it logically. Always think one step, before that actually happens. Because 9 out of 10, if you actually play them, you can actually work out what's going to happen next. You know what I mean? So basically, try and play them, because it's all a game with these people. It really is. It's all a game. And like I said, play the game with them, but be wise at how you play the game. It's like a poker game, basically. If you like to play poker, they're putting in cards and they're trying to bluff you off, basically, in a sense. But wait a minute, you might have a hand. Yeah, see what I mean? Your hand is you've researched this, and you're actually playing into their game, but you're actually being more and more step behind them. See what I mean? It's like if it's a court case and you're going against the police, say the public order, read up on public order, read up on these practical artefacts. Because if you've got experience, you've got background and rather research for these particular things, you actually can know exactly what you're fighting for. Like solicitors, some solicitors that you can actually go to, they're not here to support you. They're here to support the government. They work for the government. Legal aid is only around because of obvious people who are on low income benefits and that kind of thing. If you actually get legal aid, because it's now hard to actually get it. But don't forget, legal aid is paid by the government. So they're actually going to step in and support the government. So like I said, also play solicitors as well. It's something to actually think about and research, which actually don't get to know these particular things. I'm just going to take a quick drink. Obviously, if you're Got any questions? Let me see if I can support you with it. 6 watching, that's quite good. So, but don't forget that says play these particular people, because like I said, it's all the game. It's all the new reset that we're actually going in. Why are they doing this lockdown? You got to think about it logically. Is it to do with Brexit? Not many people are talking about Brexit, are they, around at the moment? So think about it logically as well when it comes around that. Who didn't want Brexit to happen? Think about it logically. Think back. MPs want it. Labour didn't want it. SNP didn't want it. Some Conservatives blocked it as well, didn't they? So think about it logically. You're putting them back into power, yeah? You voted. Most people voted Conservative. Not everybody, obviously, supported Labour. But think about it logically. Labour didn't want it. Some Conservatives didn't want it, yeah? But they brainwashed you, trying to say, no, we're going to have this massive, fantastic Brexit deal. But wait a minute. Think about it logically. They didn't want Brexit to happen. So what's the best tactic to try and get people to stop talking about Brexit? Yeah? Bringing a lockdown. So it's think about it logically. It's to do with trade deals. It's to do with that kind of thing. If you think about it logically, and it's all to do with the new mindset and taking power off people. And if you think about it logically as well, with the Mental Health Act, how they're taking power off people, because if you think about it, you need more than one doctor to actually section somebody. Now it's only one doctor. So think about it that way, they're taking power out there. So if you take power off them, with a power of attorney, if you can get one, you're taking that power off them. So actually so you're actually playing their game, but you're actually logically taking it off them. See what I mean? But that is something to actually think about it. So yeah, I'm not going to go on too long about my personal experiences. I think I've gone on a bit too long with my particular one. I want to see if any of you that are viewing at the moment have actually suffered, and see if I can actually, from my experiences of what I've gone through, see if I can actually help you out as a friend to see if I can help you with the system myself, because I might have a background that I know that you don't know, and that's the only way you can actually get the support that you actually need, or the person that you're caring for, or anything like that, they can get the support they need. Yeah, but if you think about it, Whip Lady, we're all slaves in society, yeah, but if you think about it, we are voting these particular people to actually stand for our rights, yeah? So, if we're voting for them, and say stop this slavery and nasty and money taking and all that lot, we can actually fight these people. So, technically, pester your MP. You're voting that MP in. Wait a minute, that MP's standing for you. Go to their office. All MPs have an office. But wait a minute. Our MP, like I said, is Ollie Lynch. Her office is upstairs. Ollie Lynch is never in it. But wait a minute. You're voting for that particular person. So if I go in and turn around and say, I want to speak to Ollie Lynch, you always get a counsellor or some kind of office person. You can actually try and say to them, wait a minute, I don't want you, I want Holly Lynch. And if I'm not going to get Holly Lynch, I'm going to report her because she's not keeping to her job. So report her for not doing a job. Same as any other MP. Think about it logically that way. They are like the police. The police are here to support us, technically. That's everybody. They don't do it, obviously, we all know that. But take the name, take the number, take the station they're from. Obviously, try and remember it if you can, record it if you can, or write it down if you can. Remember it, and remember if that police officer, that WC or whatever, doesn't support you, report them. The more time you report the person, the more time they're going to actually get to the sense that, wait a minute, we're not standing for this anymore. We're paying you with our taxpayers' money. We're voting for you. So who are actually standing for us. So if you're not standing for us, we're going to fight you. And obviously, if you've got certain family members, get them to report it as well. The more type people report it, the more action they'll actually take. Think about it that way, Whip Lady. And yeah, and like I said, this particular thing is you can't record in the job centre and they'll chop you out or anything like that. Remember, if you actually read the forms, it says to you, you can record it. If you actually read some of it down. Obviously, I've got a carer, which is my father, to actually read that particular right to me. Obviously, you can't do it with an actual camera, but if you record it as an audio, you can. And remember, all these centres you actually go into to claim your PIP and things like that, they have CCTV. Yeah? What rights do we have in law that entitles us to that CCTV? If you have an answer, pop it in the comments, because there actually is a law that entitles you to all CCTV. It's like a police wear the body camera, don't they? Think about it like that. You can so actually you can actually ask for that particular thing as well, because that's our rights as well. If you actually wanting to actually get your medical information, you actually wanting to get your everything the council or everything that you've schools or anything you need, you can actually use this particular law as well to actually get this particular right. And obviously, if they don't give it you can take them to court. You can take them to civil court, because it's actually a law that entitles you to actually think. But the one thing that always gets me is that if you're actually claiming this freedom of information, if you ain't at it, right, you can actually turn and says you'll actually get a letter back that'll turn and say, wait a minute, we need to actually have data and we need to actually know who you are and things like that. But everybody has a passport. Not everybody has a birth certificate. Not everybody has some form of ID. So if you write a letter back, turn around and saying to them, or phone them or whatever, if you can't write, obviously, so I said, I don't have ID. I've never been abroad. I don't need a passport. I can't drive. I've got an illness that affects me driving. I ain't got any bills because I don't pay bills because I can't pay bills because I'm dyslexic. I can't pay bills because I've got this illness. So I have a carer that pays these particular bills for me. So if you particularly write them, I don't have this, there is another way around. You can actually get your rights by turning and saying to them you don't actually have these particular things. Sometimes your carer can actually get this information for you, but you actually have to fill in a form to actually get that. But be careful, because they will try and sod you off and tell you, we haven't got any information on you. All doctors tell us we haven't got any information. We'll hold back information if it's going to affect you. But wait a minute, you can't hold back information from me because I have a right to that information. So why aren't you giving me that information? So if you're trying to say to them, wait a minute, I have a right for this and I want it now, or I'm going to sue you. You always don't forget, sue them, because you can actually sue them under law for the information. So that's trying to affect this doctor. Wait a minute, you're actually a person as well here. You're actually a trained doctor. You're working for the NHS. Wait a minute, I'm going to sue the NHS. Yeah? You're a trained doctor, so you can actually sue the doctor as well, which not many people realise. So you're actually suing two people. You're suing the doctor and you're suing the NHS. Same as the council. You can sue the council, but don't forget, it's a council. It's a business. You can send high court bailiffs to them. They're a business. Do you know what I mean? And you can also sue the person, which might be the social worker. They're a trained social worker. Yeah? So you can actually sue them as a trained social worker. So think about it, is the answer. You've got to, like I said, play the system, but be wise on how you play the system. Yeah, so said if you've had any experiences around this subject, and yeah, see how I can help you around it. Because don't forget, like I says previously, that West Yorkshire don't have a proper NHS mental health department. It's actually in South Yorkshire. So when you're sending the letters, they're not getting answered because they're in South Yorkshire. Believe it or not, that's the particular problem. But I also say, remember, you're seeing a GP. That GP might not be trained in mental health. Not all doctors are trained in mental health. So, yeah. So, like I said, the systems that we're all facing, just be logic, try to do a bit of research around these particular things, and you'll actually realise there is certain rights and statutes you can actually play them against as well. Yeah, so yeah, I remember when I was in education. A couple of people might remember this, that the rules actually changed for statements and stuff like that. When I was at school, which was in the 90s, it used to be called a statement of special educational needs. Yeah, recently, I think about 2010, it changed to a HSE plan or something, which is supposed to give your family, your mum and dad, your carers, whatever, more rights and in what you actually claim from school. But people remember that you're giving rights to a college till the age of you're 25. You're also doing this through school. Remember that these people that are actually taking this plan out now, that's coming, they are not trained in health. They're a teacher. They're trained in their teaching, which could be maths, English, science, that kind of thing. So just remember there that they're not actually trained. And remember that you can actually get legal aid as well through education. So if you actually don't understand this particular new changes and the rights and things like that, get a solicitor to go with you. But obviously research it as well, because they changed it to actually give you more rights. But technically, they're not giving you more rights. They're just trying technically to take more money from the council and from the government. Just excuse me there. I'm just going to blow my nose. So, yeah, just remember that this system, we're all in it together, and we all need to actually get wiser on the way this new reset is actually coming, because it is coming and it's going to hit everybody hard. And they're doing it technically now, if you think about it logically, they're doing it through coronavirus, COVID-19, and seeing what rights and what powers they can actually take off us as well through that particular thing. But you just remember, they're taking that step through that COVID by these lockdowns, yeah, to actually see what rights and what powers and what statutes they are going to actually see what rights they can take off us. So if they're going to take the rights off us through that, what rights are they now going to take off us through mental health? You need to be careful, because the government are only there to one thing, and one thing is, if you remember Margaret Thatcher, I wasn't born obviously, but my parents, what they lived through the mines and days and that kind of thing. Remember what Margaret Thatcher did? She took the milk off school children. Yeah? What's Boris Johnson done, everybody? He's took food. Yeah. So if you're actually on benefits, they're taking free school meals off people. Think about it logically now. What did Margaret Thatcher do? Take milk off people. What else did she do? Close all the pits. Thousands of miners of West Yorkshire and Yorkshire and all over the world of England that ran loads of pits, didn't they? She took the jobs off them. What did she do with the steel workers? Took the jobs off them. So what's COVID doing? Think about it. How many people are losing the jobs? Quite a few, yeah. And the people that are suffering the most, your small businesses. Yeah. What are your councils doing? We'll put up council tax by 45%. Oh, yeah. But wait a minute. Where's most of it going to? Think about it logically. In West Yorkshire, it goes to our police, which is our police and crime commissioner. The police crime commissioner. Who votes him? Us. So what rights are they trying to take off us? Think about that one. Yep, it's actually right, lady. So think about it logically. They're trying to say, oh, Churchill was fantastic. But if you think about it, look, some research back, yes, it was fantastic for the war effort, but it wasn't for certain people. It kept them in cages. If you do your research into William Churchill, yeah. So I'm not racist, but I don't believe in this Black Lives Matters and a wrong race is better than the other race. I don't believe in that garbage at all. I think we're all one race. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all in this world together, and we should all live in harmony if we can possibly live in harmony. But we also have to fight the system to live in harmony. And then obviously, I'm not a churchgoer as well. I don't believe in Jesus, and I don't believe in God. But I do believe that we're all actually put on this earth to actually do something and fight for our rights. And obviously, if you can't fight for your own rights, we're here to actually fight for your rights as well. And that's what this auditing community, I believe, is about. If you can't speak for yourself, and you can't fight things for yourself because of your illness or your background or whatever else, these auditors are actually taking one step further and actually fighting for your rights. So if you actually are an auditor, I say thank you for actually fighting for us, the rights of the people that can't fight for the rights. But obviously, I think auditing in a certain sense is a good thing, but I also think that there is some auditors that actually go around the wrong way of doing it as well. I don't believe that we should actually go in and go straight at a police officer and call them all the names under the sun because you don't know that police officer. You don't know that police officer's background. That police officer might be in the same situation as we are. You know what I mean? They might have a child or might suffer mental health themselves or anything like that. So think about it logically as well, that police officer might be suffering the same as we're suffering. Because he can't speak about it because his code of practice doesn't allow him to speak about it on a film or a camera. You shouldn't really bully him or her for that thing. But obviously, if they're actually coming out and actually shouting at you, ask them politely, I know that you're doing a job, sir or madam. Always be polite and turn around and say, yeah, but I know exactly what your job is. I know what your role is. I know the pressures you're actually facing. But people believe that there is cuts to the police service. If there isn't cuts to the police service, why is it making an effect on society? If there's no cuts to the police, you've got to actually think about it logically. I live in a small area in Halifax called Ovingdon. We never see a police officer absolutely ever walk around. We never see a PCSO ever walk around. But we see traffic police driving around. But we do have a bully police officer, and I will name him. That's PC Illingworth, who only pulls over certain individuals to ticket them. But yes, so you actually have to think about it logically as well. That they're actually doing a job, but they have things that say in their code of practice that they can't actually say certain things. It's like council workers, they can't say certain things because they're sacked. See what I mean? So obviously they're going to try and get you on Terrorism Act and public order offences and everything like that. But don't forget, we have rights. And it's trying to say, officer, I know exactly how you're feeling. I know the pressures that you're facing, officer, but I'm trying to actually support you, officer, because in a way you're going through this pressure and this hardship yourself. And obviously by your powers and things like that, you can't speak out on this particular subject. So that's what I'm doing. But obviously, if you're going to speak to a police as well, like a lot say, take the name, then the station number, and the number on the collar. As well, and don't forget you can actually get the name and that of any social worker or any person that is property of the government or work for the government, and it is a criminal offence if they actually do not give it you as well. You can actually sue them and take legal action and that kind of thing as well. Yeah, so so like I said, we all need to actually think about the situations and that kind of thing. And obviously, if you're going to our auditing, my opinion is please be polite, please be respectful, because they're actually here doing a job, but they're actually under pressure as well. Their particular sales. I have got, not picking on certain auditors, that actually go and do that certain thing, because obviously that's their platform and that kind of thing. But just like I said, be respectful, because I won't like anybody going in, if I was still working, going into my place of work and actually harassing me, turning around and shouting at me. Wait a minute, I don't understand what on earth you're saying when you're shouting. Talk to me, be respectful, I might be able to help you. That's my particular role, and that kind of thing, if I actually was that. Obviously, I can't be a police officer, and I'm not a police officer, but because of my health and problems, that kind of thing won't let me be a police officer anyway. Due to that, but I wouldn't be a police officer anyway. I think West Yorkshire Police, at the moment, where that they're dealing with things is ridiculous. If you do some research into West Yorkshire Police, you'll actually find out that there is a lot of sex grooming cases around West Yorkshire Police as well, and cover-ups, which is another topic that I don't want to really get into. I don't believe in grooming of any kind or sexual harassment or that kind of thing. I don't believe in it, and I don't believe that people should actually comment on a particular person's looks or appearance or bully them because of their particular backgrounds and that kind of thing. I think that's actually hurting the person, because everybody actually can only take it so many times before they actually go off the rails and commit suicide or hurt themselves, which we don't want in a particular sense, because if that person takes their life, you're not just affecting that particular person, you're actually affecting that particular person's family and friends and that kind of thing. And obviously I've had friends with mental health problems and that kind of thing that have took their own lives from not getting the support from school age and that kind of thing. There was jumped off bridges and obviously hurt themselves. And like I said, just got to be all in this together. We're all in this together, and we've all got to try our hardest to actually fight the system, fight the corrupt system, and that kind of thing. A couple of people have actually asked me why don't I go out and audit particular places. A few people, friends-wise, and auditing isn't really me, to be totally honest with you. I couldn't see myself standing in the room with a camera walking around a building. I've tried it, that kind of thing, but I'm going to have a go at auditing, but it's not something that is me really. I'd rather talk to people and that kind of thing and see if I can actually support them, because it was a role I actually had when I worked in a radio station. I did shows around mental health and counselling and that kind of thing, and I had mental health workers and that kind of thing coming in on shows talking about it and that kind of thing. I did it around, obviously, underage sex as well. That's happening around recently due to the situation around drugs. And obviously, why are people taking drugs? There must be a situation around why people are taking drugs. Obviously, that falls onto mental health as well. It's all an education in experience, and I believe it should actually be tackled by education, but actually educational properly, and not just actually say, oh, it needs to be tackled by education. If it needs to be tackled by education, you need to actually show these people support and actually try to see the situation why they're actually taking these illegal substances. Obviously, there is people that do take illegal substances and they might like it, but that's their opinion, and I believe that's their God-given right to actually take these illegal substances if they want to take them. Obviously, there is a law when it leaves substance. I'm not saying actually go and take them in that particular sense, but if it actually helps your mental health or tries to relieve you or helps you around that particular area, you should be actually be able to take them substances, but be careful because there actually is things that affects you with them particular substances as well, and obviously drinking and that kind of thing as well. If you're actually going on a high, because they have mental health, have high days, have sad days, that kind of thing. A high days when basically people call them person off the rocker, but I don't believe they're actually off the rocker. I actually believe it is a mental illness that they're actually suffering. But the signs say if you're actually on that day, don't drink. Don't take any illegal substances because it actually does make you worse on that. Don't take drugs of any kind. I don't believe in that kind of thing because I've had relatives that have died from alcohol addiction and that kind of thing. I've live in an area where drugs and illegal drugs and prostitution from all certain ages as well. I won't go into certain ages, but let's just say that there actually is really young. I don't believe in that particular thing, but I don't feel that against anybody that actually does take that, because there is a reason and there will be a reason why you're actually taking that particular substance or drinking or anything like that. But obviously try and see if you can get support to try and relieve you off them particular substances or alcohol as well, on that kind of thing. I am going to call it a night in for minutes. It's actually getting late. It's actually 10:04, and obviously, like I said, I have got a younger sister with mental health problems and disabilities and that kind of thing, and it's not fair to be on this for too long. Because it doesn't, obviously she will like to play, because obviously she hasn't got the background of what her age is, which is 24 and that kind of thing. She actually is a younger age but in a body of an adult, if you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm actually going to wind it up. I might actually later on do another live again, try to see if I can actually support people with mental health. But I'll let you know when I actually going to do one, and I'll keep you updated on how Zara, my younger sister, is fighting for rights of education and mental health and getting the support she needs. And I'll try my hardest, if there's any law changes or anything like that, that I can help you with. I'll actually try and see if I can actually help you with them. I'd like to actually see a few more people on the live. If you can actually tell people that actually do these lives, I'll obviously tell you when I'll do them. Let them know, because I say mental health suffers. Everybody suffers from it. Everybody might have particular problems or family members that they need support with. Obviously, I ain't trained in law. I'm not a solicitor. I'm not a barrister, but I do like to see it that I do have some form of mental health background from, like I said, doing previous radio shows with these particular people. And obviously, my sister's got it, I've got it, and so I can support it. But I'm going to call this a wrap this evening, and thank you to everybody who's commented, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, everybody. Look after yourselves, and remember, we're all in this together. And if you are an auditor, please fight for these people, because mental health is for everybody. And don't forget, everybody, if you actually suffer from mental health, it is okay to talk, and talking is a way that we can actually try and sort it. So thank you for tuning in, and look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later.